Thank
Right.
you so much, Summer, for sharing your story with my viewers.
Of
And
course.
we're gonna jump right in. I want to introduce her. She is one of my former clients. One of what I call the 70% who, after we worked together, she got married. So it works. I'm
There
trying
you
to tell
go.
y'all, it works. But this is Summer, and she's just going to start off by telling us a little bit about her dating life before we worked together.
Okay. So I would say before we worked together, because I learned a lot after we worked together. I tended to be in relationships that were not going anywhere. They weren't serious or uncommitted, and just spent quite a bit of time in that situation, which, when you're young, that might be okay because you got time. But as you get older, you feel like, what's wrong with me?
Right.
Because um, I would like to get married, and the ones that I've been dating are not committing.
Mhm.
So I think that's where I found myself
Where you kind of got to
before
the
I
point where you
before
said,
I started the course.
yeah, okay. And that's kind of going into my next question. How did you find out about the course, and what did you expect going into it?
So I found out about the course because I attended one of your conferences. I think this was Heartbreak to Wholeness,
Mhm.
and that was eye-opening because obviously you're within a group of people who are working through some workbook information, and we heard from some men what they look for in women, and um, then you offered, if anybody wanted to dig deeper personally, you offered the course. And I was like, okay, I can use that assistance. I can use that help. So that's how I
Right.
got into it.
So what did you expect going into it? What were your expectations from the whole thing?
Well, I expected there to be some counseling. I expected there to be some work, like some work that I needed to do separately from our conversation.
Mhm.
I did expect that. What I didn't expect was um, jumping in deeply as much as we did in such a short time, which was, I think, very helpful for me because I think sometimes I can take a long time to get to the point. But you had the right questions to dig deep, and for me to really examine who I was and what I was looking for.
Right, right. Well, I'm glad
Yeah.
to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. You just like to know that your approach is working, which I know
Yes.
it works, but to hear it from you means a whole lot.
Yes.
And so, speaking of the work we did, what was one of the most valuable or maybe your favorite activity that we worked on?
Okay. Um, I think, let me just say, all of it was valuable.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The- and I don't know the actual exercise that we did to get to this point.
Okay.
And maybe you remember, but one of them was, I think I was supposed to write down what I wanted in a spouse.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I wrote a lot of stuff down. And then you had me narrow that list down to what is most important, what is high on your list, for me to come to the understanding that high on my list was commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just across the board. And I don't think I had ever ranked it as
Mm-hmm.
high as that before.
Mm-hmm.
But once we had that discussion, we talked through those aspects. I was like, okay,
That's what you
that's
ultimately
it.
looking for. Yeah, and
Yep.
I thank you for saying it because well, I'm sure I told you either in the conference or during our time together that the way I view the list is, your list is your list because it's a list of things that you're afraid of, or a list of things that you want to try to protect yourself from,
Right.
but it's not necessarily what you want. That it's a list of stuff you don't want, and
Right.
so approach your list with the attitude of, let me put what's most important, and this other stuff, that's my work.
Right.
That's the stuff I need to work on. So I do recall us going through that. And so to come to the conclusion, my thing is, make your list, work on your list such to the point where it is as little as possible.
Right. And that's what we did.
Yeah, yep. That's what we did. That's what we did. And so you came down to commitment. So that is a wonderful place to go into this. What made you, with that in mind, with that in tow, because I know you met your now husband.
Right.
Show the ring. Yeah, girl, she married, girl. But so what, with that in tow, meeting him towards the end of our time together, how did you deal with him differently? Because I know you had some concerns with him on the front end. First of all, what were some of those concerns, and how did you deal with it differently?
So to be honest, I don't remember what the concerns were at the time when we talked about it. But I would say what helped me work differently with him was identifying what great character he had, and not focusing on, maybe nobody's perfect, right? So not focusing on those things that were imperfect, but focusing on those things that he did really well. And one of those things was commitment.
Commitment, right.
And he pursued me, and I had to pay attention to that because he was
consistent,
showing me that he wanted to be with me. And he did. There was never a doubt within our dating period that he didn't want to be with me, because he did, and he made that clear. So just being receptive.
Yeah.
Being receptive to who he was and his character, and recognizing, he really is showing you what you want in a relationship.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. And then had you not done that, you would have focused on those other things, because it's been bubbling up, so much. Now I gotta be a little transparent. I did look back in our notes, and I know.
Okay.
So do you mind me sharing that?
I don't mind.
Okay, so one of the issues I know you said was, like, he traveled a lot, and that you didn't trust him at first, because I don't know if it's because of the travel, or I just had in my notes, new guy innocent, new guy on the block, and he traveled a lot. I don't really trust him, and that was kind of it,
Right.
And had you focused on that, you would have missed out on this. But I think a lot of women fall into that trap.
Right.
Where they say, well, I don't trust him, so I'm gonna go with what they call their gut instinct. No, that's your fear talking.
Right.
Talk about
so yeah, he definitely did travel a lot. And when we really started dating seriously, there was not a day that didn't go by that I didn't talk to him or have some conversation with him. And he was very transparent about what he was doing with his day. He traveled a lot for work. So, he would end up answering my phone call in the middle of a work dinner or what have you. So it was, he just showed me that he's doing what he's supposed to be doing while he's traveling. I don't need to worry. I think when we really started dating seriously, we probably saw one another every day. It was just one of those. For me, it was, don't get distracted by that aspect of it, because there's more to him than just he travels a lot.
Right. And I feel like so many women get focused on the thing that they don't like versus the stuff that they do like.
Right.
And then some would say, well, I did focus on it. But then you got to go back to what my next question is, self-care. By doing this form of self-care, because a lot of times when we say we're doing self-care, we're getting an extra degree, we're working Uber on the side, we're going to get our nails done and our massage, we're doing everything but really dealing with our stuff.
Right.
So what difference did doing this type of self-care make on you? How were you able to use this to your advantage?
So I think that those exercises that you had me do in our conversations helped me to walk through the steps of identifying if a fear is being pricked, or if an expectation is not being met, and really think through it and understand, okay, is this just me being afraid? And that's why I don't like it? Or is this a really significant situation? And then because you kind of got to take a step back and really be objective with yourself sometimes. And I think you allow me to do that with our exercises with the course. And I think that still equips me today. Like, we're having conversations. Yeah, we're having conversations. Okay, Summer, is this really significant to get, emotional about? Or is this just your fear talking and it's really not that big of a deal? So yeah, it's good to know yourself. I think it's self-realization is what this course gives, and the skills to walk through those steps.
I was just about to ask you, what's your big takeaway from the course? So self-realization.
Self-realization.
Being honest with yourself.
Being honest with yourself, and addressing your fears. Yeah, what are you afraid of?
Right, not grouping everything that comes to mind into this bucket of he's a terrible person,
Right.
Unless there is something that really is valid that you say, okay, this is a concern, but you don't have to group everything into that box. So
exactly.
For you for that.
Thank you. Me too.
Now, how did you meet your husband?
I met him at work. So I'm in HR, so I did his orientation.
Oh, okay.
And that was our initial meeting. And then maybe a year later, we ran into one another at lunch. I kind of gave him the runaround. I think I told you that.
Right.
But you know what?
My notes about him was so short. I was like, oh, she's not going to work with him. She ain't going to fool him.
Yeah. Yep. But we ended up going out one night. We had a great time. We had great conversation. And I think we both left that like, maybe this can work. Let's see where this can go. Let's concentrate on the positive and the character and, what you really want out of a relationship, and see if that is expressed. And it was.
That's good. That's so focusing on what you really want and see if that's there, as opposed to, that's good.
Yep.
Okay. So the purpose of the Dating Masterclass is to prepare people to date in a healthy way.
Right.
That's the purpose. It's not necessarily to get you ready for marriage. That's what marriage counseling is for, premarital counseling. It's not necessarily that. It's to help people date in a healthy way.
Right.
And then if that leads to a sustainable, good relationship, then great. And if it doesn't, you don't fall out of life's back door, if you have to go with the person.
Just swear off dating altogether. I'm just done.
Right, exactly. And then
at least
go
you'll
know for like 20 years.
Right. At least you'll know, just going through this course, you're able to identify if a relationship is going to work or not, for yourself and probably for the other person too. Learning how to be honest and knowing who you are and what you truly want out of a relationship. So
that, that was the question. That's what I was getting around to. I was going to say, what difference did this make? But knowing, like you said, knowing how to be honest with yourself and really just taking things for what they are and not necessarily letting it feed into these other unspoken issues that we don't like to admit we have, such as and all that. So what advice would you give a single lady who is on the fence? She's one way or another, we've had a consultation, or she's been on the website, she's been receiving emails from me, or she's been following on social media, and she's like, I don't know if I should invest in this.
Okay, so yeah, I thought the same thing. Should I really spend this money on this? I did. But for me, I just reached a point where I was like, you know what? It can't hurt. It cannot hurt. It can help you miles down the road. Just a little investment in yourself. I think at the time I was probably getting my nails done or whatever. And I was like, you know what? I can take a break from that and I can put the money towards this course just to get to know myself better. And to be honest, didn't miss it.
Mm.
This was so worth it. It was so worth it,
Aw,
Tracy.
that's
It really was.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you. And thank
You're welcome. No, thank you.
you. You're
I
welcome.
ever told you that. Thank you, Tracy.
Oh,
I appreciate that.
that girl had me crying on the camera.
And
I'm a little crybaby. I'll cry now. I will cry. But I'm
you know
really glad.
what, too? You feel lighter when you understand who you are, what fears are being triggered, and when you feel stronger if you have the skills to address those things. And that's something that I'll probably carry forever, is working with this course. So yeah.
I'm thrilled. I'm just thrilled that the stuff that we worked on, you still incorporate to this day. I mean, I've heard other people have come back and told me the same, but just every time I don't get tired of hearing it, because that's the whole reason why I'm even relaunching this program, is because
Right.
I know it can make a difference in people's lives.
It really can.
And you know, I kind of get tired of the marketing and the business. I just want to do this part.
Right.
I get tired of the marketing and business side of it, but I really don't get tired of helping people, reach their relationship goals. So
Yeah, it truly was instrumental for me in the dating world, for sure.
awesome. Well, thank you so much, Summer, for giving me a few minutes of your time. And
No problem.
I trust that you've enjoyed that conversation with one of my previous clients, Summer, and she did the Dating Masterclass a couple of years ago, and I'm really excited for her and her new journey as a wife with a man that absolutely adores her. And as you noticed there, it was tools that she got from our time together that helped propel her to be ready for something like this, and to not let her fears and insecurities and the patterns that she'd had in the past, not let those get in the way of her proceeding with someone who, though when he presented himself wasn't exactly perfect, but he had enough of what she really wanted for her to entertain him, and for them to move forward in a healthy way. And so I just want to help you guys, just like I've helped her, rewrite that love story and not have to repeat the same thing over and over again. It's doable, it's fixable, it's a step-by-step process. You don't get it all by just saying, oh, okay, she minimized her list, let me minimize mine. No, it was a process getting to that point. So invest in the process, join the Dating Masterclass. There are discounts available if you sign up before the year is over, before 2018 is over. Before 2018 is over. So you want to take advantage of those. And I look forward to working with you to help you rewrite your love story and just shake things up for 2019. And also be aware, and I mentioned this during the video, this is not just if you want to be married. Okay, this is to help you date better, help you proceed through the dating process. I know come across a lot of women who've said, "Oh, I just would just love to avoid the process, just snap my fingers, and my guy shows up." But that's not always how it happens. Actually, that's like most the percentages is not in your favor if you're waiting for that to happen. You have to go through the process, and we can make that process as painless as possible. And what you do at the end of that process, whether you just meet some lovely gentlemen and have a great time, or if you decide, hey, this is something I want to move forward with, either way, it doesn't have to be a painful process, and it all starts with you. So sign up today, datingmasterclass.net. We can either do individual coaching, or you can sign up to be in the class that starts next year. And either way, I look forward to helping you rewrite your love story.